All right, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're talking about a bike computer, the Magene C606. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So like I said, today we're talking about a bike computer, and it's been quite a while since I've talked about a bike computer, and that's because I've been running the same bike computer for, oh geez, how long was it? It's about 8 years. I was running the exact same bike computer, and it honestly worked great for me. It was time for an upgrade to get some different features and different things added into that. So we'll start off, before we even start talking about the computer, I will say I paid for this and bought this myself. I bought this on Black Friday just about a year ago, and I've been running it ever since then. This is something that interested me due to its low price point and high kind of feature quantity that it has, that I thought would be very interesting to try out and potentially fit kind of my bill as well as a lot of your bills on kind of what you're looking for. So the Magene 606. So Magene exists. They do power meters. They have some trainers. They have bike computers. They have lights. They have kind of all that kind of stuff. So they have kind of a wide range of what they sell, but they do sell a couple different models of computers. So the C606 is their top of the line computer here. And honestly, when you pull this thing up and you start looking at the features, then you see the price of $159, you kind of think you're getting scammed a little bit. However, I can tell you it's not really a scam. You actually get quite a lot of features on this for that ridiculously low price. So let me tell you kind of what I upgraded from. So the computer I was running for forever was like a Garmin Edge like 200 or something. It was like a little tiny black and white screen, and it pretty much told you you're going this fast, you've gone this far, and you've ridden this amount of time. And that's pretty much it. And it worked okay. Pretty basic stuff. However, I bought that and started using that when I was living in Hawaii at the time. And in Hawaii, it's a little bit different. In Hawaii, you pretty much can ride wherever you want to go, and because in reality, there's only a few roads you really want to be on, and the mountains doesn't really care because you're mountain biking. And as long as you kind of know which side the ocean should be on, which side the mountain should be on, you can kind of figure out your way home. Kind of basic, pretty simple. Didn't really need much else there. Now I can say since moving here, and especially since we've started to travel and go different places, that's a little bit different. And it's a little bit different when I'm riding on new roads and places I've never ridden before. And I kind of want more sensors and things attached to the bike to help monitor what I'm riding and how I'm doing that. You know, as you get older, it helps to monitor like heart rate, stuff like that, to make sure you're not going to kill yourself while you're out on your bike accidentally. So makes a big difference to me. So I wanted something that could do all those different things. So I picked up Magene C606 here. So from looking at it, you can tell it's not the largest computer out there. It's a pretty decent size. I mean, it's definitely bigger than the last one. This is a 2.8-inch color touchscreen here. So it is a little bit bigger. However, there are bigger computers than this guy. This is about the largest I wanted to go because I use it on my mountain bikes. If I didn't use it on my mountain bikes, I would probably go something bigger. But for my case, this kind of tucks in nice and neat and nice and secure. Kind of keeps it up on the stem without poking out everywhere. So if I crashed, it shouldn't damage the computer. Kind of nice to think about, right? You don't want your computer to get damaged. So pretty nice guy here. So it does have just kind of your standard Garmin twist lock on the back. Works with all your standard Garmin mounts. Pretty awesome. Didn't have to change a single thing when I got this guy. So let's go ahead. So this guy, pretty simple here. So it is a full touch screen on here. So you have a touch screen here, your power button on the top. You have two different buttons on here that change what's showing on the screen. And then of course your USB-C rechargeable right here, which is a big upgrade from my last one. My last one was a USB mini, which is kind of the bigger one. So you can kind of tell it's a big upgrade going to USB-C. So I've really enjoyed using this. So I'll say, if you want like a full review on all the features and everything, on how this all works and everything, this isn't the video for you. This is the video of me telling you my experience with this and telling you whether this is, whether this is actually something, whether this is a computer that makes sense for people, just wanting to get out, wanting to get a computer. So pretty nice computer. So you pretty much you can set up your profile, set your weight, height, that kind of stuff, set your kind of baseline measurements in there. You can also put in the different bikes you have, different wheel sizes, so you can calculate different speeds, all that kind of stuff, which works really good when you have this many bikes. You can kind of hook them up, set them up to whatever bike it is. You just change the setting when you get on your bike, and you can just, boop, I'm riding the mountain bike today, or boop, I'm riding the gravel bike today. Really kind of simple, it does that. Keeps track, of course, your distance and your time right on the main screen, which for me personally, pretty nice. I like knowing that. I like knowing how far I've ridden and how far you know, how far I've ridden and how time I've ridden. It's kind of cool to know that. In my opinion, it's kind of fun. Then you can set up your profiles for what you're going to ride on, which changes all the display screens in here. So in my case, I pretty much have a road and a mountain, so 2 setups here. I use the road for road or gravel. Pretty much gives me the information I need when I'm on those type of bikes versus the mountain bike. The mountain bike screen is a lot more simple because I don't use sensors or anything like that on the mountain bike. I'm pretty much just riding just to get those basic data points of you went this far, you're going this fast, and you spent this amount of time. That's pretty much all I'm looking for. A mountain bike, when I'm riding the gravel or the roads, kind of a different story. So I have those 2 different profiles set up. You can set up as many of these as you want. Pretty cool, you can do that. The thing I really like about this guy is you can hook it up to pretty much any sensor you could think of. Sensor, light, electronic gears. You can hook it up to any of that stuff out there. So for instance, let's talk my gravel bike. That's the one I use by far the most sensors on. So I have my heart rate monitor around my chest. Hooks up to the heart rate monitor, tells you your heart rate. Pretty awesome. Even tells you your heart rate zone, and it gives you not just you're in zone 3, it'll tell you you're zone 3.3 or 3.4, especially as you go, which is kind of neat to see. Because sometimes, you know, some of us, you know, I get, you know, you're on a ride, you're getting a little tired, you're not really paying attention, you're just like, all right, I'm feeling kind of crappy right now. You look down and see that you're at zone 3.9. You're like, oh, well, that's why I need to kind of calm it down a little bit. You can kind of calm it down versus just seeing you're in zone 3 and not knowing quite when your heart rate bumps you up into zone 4. Kind of keeps that pretty nice. That's a really nice thing. I really like that it has the just the point on there, that 10th digit on there. I really, really like that. So anyways, I have a heart rate monitor on there. I have electronic shifting on there with the wheel top setup. Hooks up to here, tells you what gear you're in without having to look back on the rear. They'll tell you whatever gear you're in on your shifter. Pretty cool. Also hooks it up to the radar system, my Magic Shine radar system I'm running. Hooks up to that no problem, as well as the rear light it'll hook up to. So it'll attach to both of those, show radar notifications on the left side. Kind of neat that it does that. Like I said, it kind of hooks up to everything in here, and there's more you could do. You do power meter, cadence, speed. You can hook it up to whatever you want to do. Like I said, I just have those 4 main sensors I use currently, and I've had no problems with that, and it was super easy to attach this to whatever you wanted to do. It also has different things like training, routes, segments, smart assistant, that kind of stuff. I'll be honest, I don't use very many of those. The only one I really use is routes, and that's I can put in a pre-planned route in here, like when I did Grinduro or the Sea Otter Classic Gravel Race or Tour of Carson. Those kind of things I can put in there as a route, and it'll show it to me on the map and actually show me the route on the map, which is a big improvement over my last one that I had, which was that black and white screen, which would just give you a kind of a breadcrumb trail. Wouldn't show you any geographic features, wouldn't show you elevation lines, wouldn't show you any roads, nothing like that. Pretty much had a little dotted line, and it would just show you where the dotted line goes, and that's about it. Kind of funky, but it worked. But it kind of worked. So shows you routes on here. It does have Strava segments, which was in the latest update they had, which is kind of cool. This thing continues to get updates, which is something new for me. I'm not used to having a cycling computer that gets updates. So kind of different that it gets updates, but it is nice as they improve features, add features in here. And that's something I've noticed in the past year is they have added and fixed things and make constant improvements on this. About, I don't know, every other month or so, it seems to have an update, which is fine. You just hook it, you just make sure it attaches Bluetooth to your phone, and boom, there you go. You have connection to your phone, and it updates if there's an update on there. Pretty nice it does that. Also, every 2 weeks, it wants a calibration on its GPS signal. So same deal. You just make sure it connects to your phone. Once it connects to your phone, it's boop, and it's updated. Pretty nice. So personally, the Magene 606 has kind of filled my need for just kind of a upgraded basic computer. So, you know, if you're looking for like top of the line kind of stuff and looking for all the features you can get, the Magene 606 isn't quite there. There's a couple features it doesn't quite have. So number one, there are some brands that say their product may or may not work with the Magene 606. Now, I'll say that I've tested a few of those, like some Magic Shine products, and they seem to work. They seem to work fine. So, you know, in certain cases, may work. A lot of times other companies will say, it may or may not work with this. So, you do kind of got to be aware of that. You're getting something that's not one of those mainstream brands, like obviously like Garmin, Wahoo, you know, those kind of guys. So, you're getting something that's not quite one of those, but it still does the job. So, you get that. There's other kind of features in here that doesn't quite match some of its competitors out there. And one of those things I found is it's really hard to navigate and figure out what exactly you want. to get the information you need on the screen. I've spent a lot of time kind of customizing this and trying to find the information I want. And when I think I found what I want to be on here, it's not quite what I want. So I'll give an instance here. For when I do these rides or races, or even just a normal, just normal ride kind of around, some of the nicer computers out there, other brands, they can show you pretty much what the hill you're climbing is, where the top is, where you are on the hill. Pretty much show you kind of the elevation curve of what you're climbing. So you kind of know when the top of the hill is coming. That's one of the things I really like and would like to figure out. This says it can do that. I have yet to figure out how to get that to do it. And it's been a year, and I really wish I could figure it out. I'm sure there's some way in there, but it's one of those things where it's hard to figure out what does what and figure out what exactly you want to display and how that all works. There's a lot of different settings in here. So it can be a little complicated in that kind of matter. I will say my settings in here for the road is pretty much how it was when I got the computer. It's pretty much set up like that because, with some slight changes, just because I didn't feel like building my own kind of layout in there. I wanted something simple that would kind of work and was already put together. So you kind of have to build your stuff. Takes a lot of effort to kind of put in everything initially to then get it set up just to ready to ride every time. So kind of tricky with that factor. It does hook up to your phone, so you can display messages and stuff on here when you get like a text message or a call or notifications on your phone. I can say I do not have that hooked up. When I'm on a ride, that's the last thing I want is notifications on my phone popping up here. I don't want to deal with my phone. I want to be out and enjoying my ride. So I don't have that hooked up. You can do that, and it works. It works great that way. Battery life works awesome. I haven't had a problem with battery life. It lasts on kind of normal rides. If I'm doing like an hour ride, I can get generally about 6 or 7 of those, out, fully out, ready to go, hooked up to essentially my 4 different sensors there. So the heart rate monitor, the gears, my radar, and the light. So hooked up to all those, I get about, what would that be, 7-8 hours before I charge it. And even at that point, it's down to like 20%. So it could go even farther than that if I wanted to, up to that. I think it's like 10. Doesn't say, I don't remember the battery life exactly, but from my testing, it generally gets about 10 hours or so. 10 plus hours is kind of what I've seen, depending how many rides you're doing, how many times it needs to upload the data, where you're uploading the data, what kind of connection it has to upload the data. There's a lot of kind of factors in there, but if I go on a ride, I can generally get about 10 plus hours is kind of my line, which is pretty good for me. I could say my last little one, the little black and white one, I'd get about 13 when it was brand new. So much bigger, color, touchscreen, all that kind of stuff for, right about the same most of the time. Pretty cool. I like that a lot. So for me personally, I've kind of liked it. It works pretty good. I've seen a lot of people not like it. I've personally liked it, and it's something I'm going to continue to use here and continue to run on my bikes. I thought it'd be interesting for you guys just to hear about my experience with the Magene C606. Now that I've used it for a year, and I'm going to keep it. This works good. There's a couple things I still need to figure out after a year. In certain circumstances, it's not the most intuitive thing to use. Definitely had a little bit of a learning curve, especially from someone who never had something like this before. So first time user of a kind of a nicer touchscreen that has all these different features in there. Took a little bit of a learning curve to figure all that out. So depending on your kind of learning level and where you're at, may take a little bit to learn from. It may take a little bit to kind of figure things out, but it's definitely doable. So if you guys are interested in checking out the Magene C606, I'm going to have a link in the description down below so you can check it out for yourselves. Pick one up. They're pretty cool. Like I said, I bought this myself. I paid for this myself. That's something I wanted to try out for myself personally and thought I'd share it with you guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.